mic at Holyoke Media. We'd like to thank everyone who came out and signed up for the open mic. I'm asking that everybody who is part of the open mic stick to about 5 minutes. I know we're kind of a smaller crew this evening. We have a great feature who, God bless them for coming in and stepping in for, or whatever deity you choose, bless them for coming in and stepping in for Catherine Weiss, who is unfortunately not able to be here tonight due to a family medical issue. But we are very, very happy to welcome Jade Gaynor. Yay! Who will be featuring after the open mic, and I'll give them a much louder and longer intro when we get there. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome up Mary. We're asking that everyone stick to about 5 minutes. You bring a chair up, or I'll bring a chair up.
Okay. I'm going to start off with a poem called Guest of Spirit, which I wrote many years ago, and a friend of mine referred to it as shamanic rap. Tibetan temple, Kiva church, tarot cards, enlightened search, I Ching mantras, incantations, hymns and prayers from all the nations, synagogues, chapels, medicine wheels, labyrinths, church bell that peals, altars, candles, incense burning, holy water and a sense of yearning, rosaries, sweetgrass, sage and sweats, ceremonies as the sun sets, scepters rattles, crystal wands, sacred lands, spiritual bonds, shamans, monks, priests and rabbis, perhaps someday we will be allies, shamanic journeys, retreats and quests, whatever, wherever, we are all guests of spirit. And this song, not song, I write songs too. This poem is called The Second Coming, and it was recently part of an art exhibit. The exhibit was called Show Your Pride, and it was during the month of June for Pride Month. And so, The Second Coming. Yes, I do believe in God. She's a black, disabled, lesbian mother on welfare, and someday she shall rise. She's the child abused, the mother battered with bruises and black eyes. She's the woman raped and left for dead. She's the woman old and wise. She's the woman so desperate she wishes for death to put an end to all the lies. Yes, I do believe in God, and someday she shall rise. Thank you.
So I'd like to take a quick second to thank Holyoke Media for hosting. For those of you who are not aware, this is actually being recorded for Holyoke Media, so you'll be able to see the whole event on Holyoke Media or on Holyoke YouTube. For those who are curious about learning more about Holyoke Media, you can scan the QR code in the front. All of the services of Holyoke Media are free to the public, even if you do not live in Holyoke. So they have audio recording, podcast training, and a variety of other media services. So I highly recommend you check them out. And next up, we have Lex. Welcome.
Oh, it's bright. This is my first ever open mic with so many lights and such a fancy stage. I feel so privileged and nervous and weird, but thank you for being here. Okay, so I write many different ways, but this is a piece I've worked on about a month ago, and I kind of fell in love with it because It describes a lot of who I am, I guess. So, here goes. I could change lives by writing rhymes about stories that I've been through. I could change minds in between the lines with the tip of a pencil. With perfection, they say, I use stencil, touching the depths of the mental. I emote with my notes when I'm temperamental. Issues need more than tissues in society. I express them. We are all in the same family. I come equipped with the vocabulary. I say big and small words explanatory. Teaching lessons universally, and I've never been to a university. I talk about issues that are taboo. I cause chaos when speaking of what I see through. I've gained wisdom from books and street corners too. I live for experience to pursue. I don't even know what love could do. If I had a genie, I'd have one wish, and that is to be free. Because I live in juxtapose, but to balance is purgatory, and the middle is too ordinary. I'm deep beyond the depths of the sea, and high as the stars could possibly be. Like a wish and a dream, I will be legendary. Bear with me. I was just at Gateway City Arts, and I had anxiety after performing, so I ran home, and naturally I just went to my notes. I wrote with my notes, so I went to my phone and I wrote a new poem. So this is what I wrote when I was at home about an hour ago. The antidote. What is the antidote to fractured self and loss of hope? It certainly is the reason to mope. Surely I have learned how to cope through distraction and smoke. My SOS smoke signals reach the clouds. Only a rainstorm could put me out. When I'm in doubt, which I always am, I search for clout. Certainly money takes away the stress, but my milk and honey sorely is a mess. I'm looking for a way out of life. I'd rather sit in a prison than stay in the strife. To what value holds good company? It is everything, yet it is free. Isn't it funny, the value of money, when you have good friends and company? Did Whitey Ford sing about happy people in the song that ends? It's a song so very deep, and it reminds me when I am weak that I am still okay. And someday I will be totally free. But what does freedom mean to me? To be all of self without anxiety. Why am I so warily? I've met so many in life scarily, alone so often. Could it be better if I was in a coffin? I don't think so. But I don't know which way to go. Like a weed, I grow in every direction without protection. Did I remember to mention? Don't believe in everything. It creates misconception. But I don't know what caused my conception. But I hope it was with purpose beyond an erection. I grow like a tortoise. Internally, I'm a word's nest, not a bird's nest, although it is my hair. I'm the poster child for life is not fair. I've never liked my wit, but I was brought up with it, and I know so many who don't give a shit. Now, if you have a shit to give, you have a reason to live. In the darkest of places, light can be seen. I guess all I live is in between dreams. Now, if they're only nightmares, then I dare to be happy daily. But if you have a tragic life, be like a tree and grow shady. I'm just a middle-aged lady, an inner child and a baby who's lived so fast, it really did faze me. I'm a provider still, many hate me. Can you believe that life made me crazy? But I'm not alone. I'm talking to everyone who wants to be like E.T. and phone home.
Thank you. Again, my name is Jason Montgomery from Attack Bear Press. We do still have a little bit of space on the open mic, so anyone who may have just come in, please feel free to throw up a hand at the end of it. But without further ado, I would like to welcome Brett.
Thank you. Oh, sure. Right, all right. Thank you. The space between us. God, please, if I believe, will you have me? Hold me as though I were everything, but nothing at all. Hold my existence as you hold the earth, but able to slip through your fingers like pure water, and shine bright as the sun, because your light had given love to my being, yet more like the moon, so calm, so silent. Because of you, I remain a glimmer in the dark. And the vacancy in my eyes is not a lack of wisdom or knowledge. It is the space left open to welcome the darkness of death. And with this calm surrender, I eventually find you, come to you in the vast, uncanny, timeless dimension of eternity, to ask you, God, please, if I believe, will you hold me? Thanks. Most of my poems are under a minute, so I'll read about 5. Moving forward. You can help flowers bloom if you want them to. You can sing all the words once you have learned the tune. Listen. Listen to the drum, beating of your heart. Rhythm, the rhythm, light and the sound. Moving forward into the distance where the wide space of time is closing in. Collider, collision that makes a new beginning happen, creating the expansion of a distant bright future, though not so distant, for only I have been reluctant to change. Okay. Didn't really plan on which ones to read, but here we go. Ashes to ashes. The phoenix had eaten an earthworm and became mortal. This songbird now sings to eternity every day and day after. A melody on repeat. A winter bird humming, softly, softly, slowly moving towards the sun, growing, then back into the shadow. Hawk's eye, eagle's wing. Each morning opens her heart in the form of air. Mother Nature, Gaia, the invisible woman. Fly free, back with her to a humble collective beginning. Africa, Africa, remember her. This is the place where the tree of life and the phoenix had risen. From her nesting place, are ashes of forever. Thank you. Let's see, maybe 2. Okay. All right, I'll do. I think a lot of people know who Yoda is from Star Wars. So, Yoda wrote a poem. Good versus, I'm not going to do the voice. Good versus evil, this fight is. One gains control or lose the self too. The Force, strong it can be, honorable as Luke and Leia, disturbed as Emperor Palpatine. Fight you must, find your false or truth. Journey you will to become yourself. The purpose, the Creator, made you into life. Do or do not, there is no try. Choose one must, between the dark and the light. Okay, one more. Death trap. Who am I to write about death? As if I knew that end, the chilling forecast of it. Descending into darkness, no flicker of light. Please silence the fear. I shall try to break away from involvement, a life who spoke to me. Eternal silence of death, sign language of a body. Fading memories of what was, all of what I am. As for now, until that end, where all ends meet, get cleared out. This cavity of a misunderstanding, tear it from the root. Though I stay where laid, in this sullen dark room, with well-built walls, separated spaces, no windows, a cracked floor. If only there were no ceiling, maybe I could fly from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Brett. Again, this is just a reminder for those who just came in that this is being recorded for Holyoke Media, and you'll be able to find this on Holyoke Media's channel and on their YouTube page. And with that, let us welcome Carla. Carla. Oh.
Hey, everybody. I'm from a little tiny town in Texas and have very complicated feelings about that. So you'll hear a poem about it, so hope it's good. Texas, I don't know your face, how once I held it, this mask of yours that holds so many others inside of it, how I saw your eyes like bluebonnets and kissed your dry, sunburnt lips. You were my lover and my home. Your landscapes and your speech carved canyons in my heart. Your broad-brimmed hat gave me a little shade when we held close. Texas, I think I know your face when it is smiling or when it is stoic in a gaze over the horizon. But as soon again it changes, you no longer hold me close. Texas, I cannot love you, for when I was ready to wed you, a woman of your soil, ready to irrigate you with my love, you looked at me as a stranger. Do you not remember the nights I would wander outside in your silence? How I traveled air and land, your arteries, how I ate your dust when northers blew. I want nothing more than to be held by the hills in Fort Davis and to rest my feet on limestone rock. I want your silence and your suffering too, and I would bleed if you would take me. Texas, I don't know your face. And this is one more poem. I don't really remember when I wrote it. I think I was kind of drunk, but it's passionate, so I hope it came through. They call such things as holy, which we make with our own hands in love. Some book is holy, its tender pages. A church is holy, its mortar and its brick. A God is holy, his eyes, our eyes, his dreams, our dreams. And some have said the stars are holy. I'm a poet of a couple moments. My words are as momentary as me. But I will tell you what is holy, for I have known it with my own hands and my own eyes. This body is holy. It is more true than books. It is a church of blood and bones. A God is burning inside of it, inhabiting it. Stars sparkle behind its eyes. And to hold another person alone, to breathe their breath, to twine yourself with their body until you cannot find yourself at all, to mix their words with yours together. That is holy. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla. So we have a total of 3 spaces left on the open mic. So 1, who else would like to come? 2, okay. So we have 1 space left on the open mic, but there's still people to go before we get there. I just wanted to throw that out there. Dina? Dinah, please welcome Dinah.
Somebody's notebook? Oh, this is the open mic book. Okay. Hi, everybody. Let me make the adjustment here. Hello. So I just came from a 6-hour poetry festival a couple of blocks away, so I'm going to impersonate a person with energy. We'll try to do that. My name is Dinah. Happy to be here. I have 2 pieces. In the next room, immediately after the amputation, my sister's left leg sped to the next room. She remained in her body for a time. Her leg was waiting for her there. They had a reunion. Then she ran, danced, soared. Willie, my first love, is there. When I see him again, he'll be 18. I'll be 17. We're slow dancing. Etta James sings At Last. He's holding me close, kissing my face like a gazelle nibbling the grass. First time together, half a century since that last kiss. Miraculous. Daddy, overworked, tough New York winters, dead at 52. Never got to retire to Florida and be by the shore. Mom alone, 47 more winters. Together now, sitting oceanside in the pink sunset, happily offering baskets of seashells to passing strollers. It's Bella's shell shack Mom's dream. In the next room, the hands of the clock clasp one another like old friends and forget the time. The next room is Grand Central's final terminal, where lost and lonely things gather. Everything is returned, words, recollections, youth, health undimmed. Faces and places are remembered, arguments forgotten. The true self, undamaged by disappointment, opens again to wonderment. We'll remember who we were before we were ever given our human names. Every lost thing becomes found. Single socks find their mates. All disconnections rejoined. Broken branches find the primordial tree. We'll laugh like children and whirl like dervishes. No one can remember what the fighting was about. Our hearts become brand new, astonished. Our ancestors are there, showing us the thread of eternity. Harmonies burst forth from all the flowers, and we'll sing along in colors. The enemy becomes the unexpected friend. Shocking, such a relief. Orbs, beings of light that always knew us, welcome us back home. You who were left without a place are given your well-earned seat. You who are without a tribe have a tribal song to learn, now yours. You who had nothing will receive things you never knew you longed for. We all want to do better next time. I'll meet you as we skate on a Mobius strip. In the next room, we'll have endless time to get it right. Thank you. And my other poem is America, with more than a nod to Allen Ginsberg. Oh, America, you multi-mirrored, fractured mirage, you whirligig extravaganza of sequins and diesel exhaust. I stuck my thumb out on the highway. I followed you, whichever way you led me. Game show host, we're all winners and don't touch that dial. Serving up a happy face orgasm, serving up a double dream burger with cheese. Is this your kaleidoscopic charm or your multiple personalities? Oh, America, I'm in love with the promises you keep making me. The Coda-Color adventure, the jukebox romance, the pharmaceutical nirvana. I'm susceptible, you're the hot preacher whispering a sexy catechism. The Woolworth wisdom, the Miss Clairol politics, the Naugahyde beauty pageant. America, are we speed dating? Is that your tongue in my ear? It says in the brochure that we're unfailingly number one. The Just Add Water therapy, the mini mall sanctuary, the sunshine cornucopia. You take my breath away, but wait, there's more. Yes, but my Yiddish-speaking grandma is skeptical. She says, look at the fine print. Oh, America, I keep hoping you won't let me down. You vow to be the tinny surprise in your own Cracker Jack box. Grandma warns me you might have put something in my drink. And in America, it is always a red and white checked kitchen table morning, a 4 food groups Betty Crocker Christian morning, a sunny, farm, fresh, Aunt Jemima ham and eggs family morning. Your color by numbers pictures are so pretty and almost real. America, I have a crush on you, but I suspect you killed Tonto. America, you could be a better boyfriend and tip the waitress for once. Give us this day our sacred Popeil's Vegematic. Give us this day our sacred Sanibel timeshare. Your promise of new love, new frontier, new scam opens my heart like a wild red fruit. In the cigarette-tipped night, we pull on the future like a lassoed steer, rising in our helium hopes. How high is up? Oh, America, Gemini rising, spandex trapeze artist in World Circus. When you ask me to leap, are you really sure you're going to catch me? Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, I would just like to thank Holyoke Media for hosting us. This is the first of the open mic that we will be hosting. We're going to be hosting this monthly moving forward in this beautiful space. There'll be an open mic and a feature every evening that we're here. Not every evening, because that'd be weird. But with that, I'd like to welcome Andrew.
Well, I get ready here. The way that I do my poetry, ooh, that's bright. Is I do drawings, I do visual art, and then I do responses to that visual art. So I'll hold up a picture, but if you want to see it closer, you can look at Whispered Vision on Instagram, and I'll give you the date of the post. Just getting back into writing, so I'm going to read some old favorites because new stuff's not ready yet. And this first one, if you're on Instagram, is from November 12th, 2021. And it's called The Centering Self. This is the image for those who can see it. And also for the record, this is my first ever open to the public open mic. I've done a few with friends, but what's it like to be centered? Immediately what comes to mind is action without hesitation. Being so in the flow of life that I don't question what choice to make. I decide and act all in one sweeping motion, my environment and individuality harmonizing in a way where the boundaries between the two become blurry. Occasionally, events occur that demolish any feeling of centering. In those times, I feel anxious, worried about making the wrong choices. I react from a place of fear, anger, or sadness, sometimes resulting in unpleasant or even disastrous consequences. Often when I notice myself in that state, I will shy away into a cave embarrassed, afraid that I've damaged the way people see me, forever judged as indecisive, unconfident, inferior. Only to those with whom I have a strong foundation of trust, empathy, loyalty, do I dare intentionally expose the soft underbelly of my uncentered self, and even that is difficult. How then do I return to center? The accepting presence of such a friend certainly helps, but it can also be done alone. Sometimes it's in the peaceful embrace of nature, the calm cradle of creative expression, or serene stillness of meditation. Somewhere I can take a deep look at my inner self. Once there, I actively love that part of myself that is unsure and worried about what others think of me, validating its fears while also reassuring it, and by extension myself, that I am worthy of love. Not only am I worthy, but I have an infinite supply of love in any moment, both for myself and others. By giving this love to myself, the fullness and strength of my heart once again shines through, illuminating the path in front of me. The light of my love creates clarity. Choice is no longer a factor. Love leads the way, and I follow. And one more, this one from November 14th, 2021, called Slow and Steady. Here's a little turtle. There are so many pressures in this world to go fast. My mind screams, I want my desires now, and if not now, as soon as possible. If I give in to the call for speed, I end up missing out, focused completely on sprinting. My peripheral vision whooshes on by. My ego believes that if I can just get there, I'll be satisfied. So much so that sometimes my own needs drop by the wayside. Future me taking all the attention while present me sits neglected in the corner. Usually that state doesn't last long. If I'm not sleeping well, eating too much junk food, packing my schedule to the brim, or forgetting to commune with nature, among many other warning signs, I wake up. A sudden remembrance that it's when I stop and notice the tiny worlds all around me that I am happiest. Whether it's poking my head inside a tree stump, watching bees flirting with vibrant flowers, or investigating between the cracks of the sidewalk, I find inspiration all around me. That noticing spreads to other arenas of life, and once again, I find deep pleasure in a good meal, a full night's sleep, a meaningful conversation with a friend, time spent with myself. My basic needs met. Getting there is no longer the top priority. Moving slow and steady, synchronicities begin to appear. Desires fulfill naturally in ways far more mystical than I could have imagined. There is no need to figure out how to make things happen. I simply put my intention out into the ether, engage fully with my surroundings, and allow the magic to unfold around me.
Once again, I'd like to thank everyone for being here this evening. This is our first of these events, and so if it feels a little choppy and not quite in like the smooth way, that's because it is. So we had some people, and I've learned an important lesson, take this thing with me over there rather than leaving it up here. So our first up is a person I'm not sure the name of.
I'm Kaya. Okay, hopefully that's good. All right, I'm going to read a story that I'm working on. I'm kind of new to writing fiction. I don't know if I should try to adjust this microphone or just leave it there, but is it good? Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, this is kind of a first draft of a fiction story. Let me know if it's going too long. I'm not exactly sure how long it is. Okay. She looked at the bottle of hot sauce on the table. Rodney had told her she could make her own hot sauce with organic peppers like his wife, and Ilya had shushed him. Her own hot sauce was fine without being organic or homemade. Why was Rodney constantly telling her what his wife does, as if she would want to emulate it? Next to the hot sauce was a sharp knife leaning against a cutting board as if it had been placed there sloppily. A vase of periwinkle flowers was next to the knife. She imagined Rodney's wife had picked them from her garden and that he would brag about it later. She did not like that Rodney had a wife who made his life so much better, and that he then would reference her whenever Ilya told him anything at all about herself. Ilya was smiling inside, breaking up energies that Rodney had opened up. She wanted to be opened up, but then was left feeling ill, feeling these pockets of energy and emotion. There were raindrops on the window that seemed to mirror how she felt, what she knew about Rodney and Clarissa, his mythic wife. Ilya had never met Clarissa, but imagined her as a petite Asian lady who was organized and both did things for Rodney and put him in his place. She opened the fridge for a beer and cracked one open. The fridge was so full of condiments, she knew she had to go through it. And she knew Rodney would brag that Clarissa kept his fridge tidy, and Ilya would want to wave that knife at him. She felt that tornado inside herself as she tossed the metal beer tab into her kitchen garbage bin that she knew was not as utilitarian as Rodney and Clarissa's, and she felt herself clench, her body rigid, as she took a drink. The beer was cold, fizzy. Ilya's specialty was still lives. She had told Rodney that Clarissa's flower vases were okay on her counter. The beer tasted good. Rodney had said, "These are rhododendrons from our garden. Clarissa is good with flowers." Ilya's anger grew like a hot lion at the pit of her stomach when Rodney talked about Clarissa's virtues. She chugged down the rest of the beer can, took a big breath, and pressed her lips together, noticing her jaw was tight. She would either blurt things out to Rodney or breathe, furious. but waiting for it to pass, not saying anything. I don't have a garden, she had said to Rodney, annoyed, or a wife. She wanted to constantly remind him that she did not have a wife to cook for her, soak her chia seeds, make her smoothies, make homemade hot sauce, grow her flowers for her table bouquets. Though right now, Rodney's wife's bouquets were on her kitchen table. White, soft petals, some fall into the table like delicate tongues, little leaves, pages of a book she had yet to write, pages of books she had written long ago but forgotten. Rodney had been a different person to Elia than he was now, and she did not know who he would be in the future, or if that was up to her. She took some hummus from the fridge and added Clarissa's hot sauce to it generously. The beer had made her hungry. She reached under the table for the corn chips on the shelf beneath it. Her kitchen floor was black and white checkered tiles. She tossed some hot sauce on the floor, partly because it looked cool, like splattered paint, but also to express her aggression towards Clarissa, who she still had yet to meet, and Rodney. This furiousness she harbored towards them came out of the hot sauce bottle and satisfied her inner child, maybe, and she realized Rodney brought that out in her. She wanted to scribble instead of paint a still life of the flowers, the cutting board, the hot sauce, the knife. She scribbled an abstract version and immediately ripped it up. Rodney would be back any minute. She tossed the ripped up pieces of her scribble in the trash and buried them under her beer can and other things in case Rodney looked in there. She had promised him a still life painting, but got the idea to take a Polaroid instead, and dug her old Polaroid camera from the top shelf of her closet. Elia, she heard Rodney's voice from outside the front door. He pounded his fist on the door. He was holding a box of pizza. She greeted him with a hug and said, "Oh good, I needed something to put this hot sauce on." She ran to the kitchen and put the hummus and chips away. Why did Rodney make her so neurotic? She wondered as she took a fresh cheesy slice from the pizza pie and put it on a plate and dashed the hot sauce all over it. Elia realized Rodney reminded her of someone, this ex she had who would no longer look at her. She took out 3 cans of tomato soup, quickly opened them and put them all in one big bowl and popped it in the microwave. Maybe it would go with the pizza, maybe not. She was nervous. What was Rodney intending with the pizza? The beers in her fridge? The flowers? The request for a still life? Madonna or Elvis, she asked him, and went over to her old-fashioned reel record player as the microwave beeped. She was sure he'd say Elvis, but was so delighted when he said Madonna, and she put on like a virgin. Gosh, it suited the mood here. Elia served the now hot soup in 3 bowls with a ladle. 3 because presumably Clarissa might join them, but she was starting to doubt that would be the case. Am I going too long? One more minute. Okay, cool. Thanks for the pizza, she said to Rodney, setting the table and pouring them each a small glass of beer, half of 1 cold can each. Cheers, Rodney said, raised his glass to clink Elia's and took a sip, followed by a spoonful of soup, which was a little hot and burned his lips. Elia did not want to repeat her past. She did not want Rodney to become another person who would slouch and duck to avoid looking her in the eye. Yet she was pleased that she herself was not ashamed of her past behavior. She sat with good posture on the bar stool. Elia drank down her beer and only nibbled at her pizza slice doused with Clarissa's homemade hot sauce. Did she want to get back at Clarissa for making such good hot sauce? Rodney noticed the tightness in her lower back, which was always there. He put his hand on the small of her back. She liked it, but that was a step farther than he had ever taken. He removed his hand just as unexpectedly, and she felt the warmth where it had been. So, Rodney, she took a deep breath and felt that anxiety in her stomach the way it was when she had to summon the courage to confront something that could no longer go unspoken. Is Clarissa going to join us? After only a second of awkward silence, she added, I mean, I don't want to eat all of this pizza if she will be hungry. Maybe I'll just stop there. Thanks.
So I lied when I said that was going to be our last open mic. I'm sorry. I would like to welcome Sammy Lay to the microphone. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I didn't plan on reading, but I definitely plan on coming to see Jade. It's the feature of tonight. But I was like, okay, I'm going to read something because I've been working on this poem. This is one poem, but I've been working on it for a long time, and I've been working on the greater universe of the poem, where it's situated, for an even longer time. So a little backdrop is I write these poems like about my friends and people close to me. I write in their voices, but then they kind of like take control back from my pen and start writing themselves. I think they even become different people than the very people that they're inspired by, which is interesting, which is what poetry tends to do. It's all in a kind of cyberpunk, futuristic, alternative world, but it's just representations of where we are. For instance, this poem is based in like a cyberspace, Long Beach, Los Angeles version of Long Beach, Los Angeles, where one of my best friends is from. Okay, so, and just the last piece of detail, I guess, in this weird, strange world I'm just thrusting onto you is Nova is one of my characters. She's a Filipina Cambodian, inspired by the daughter of my best friend. She's an anthropologist, and this is her. Dedicated to Nova. Nova and the City of Wraths. Quiet at ground zero. High above, the thinned air traffic barely breaks the silence. This palm-laden street, the buzzing, flickering in and out sign. Tell me when the city rests. Anger in its pipes, or nymphs. Waves murmuring out past Ocean Boulevard. Well, what's there to say when we have ethnography? Salvation by way of seduction. I thought of a way to liberate the reflexive. I made an exhaustive list of deaths by deafness. By and by, archiving is halcyon, though as vocation I hardly qualify. What did Marianela mean when she called her sculpture a compression? Viva la memoria del pueblo mío, says its collarbone. I take a trip alone on a bus to San Francisco. At the edge of the Los Angeles metro orbits, I cry because I keep forgetting. Put it in ink, my dad once said, my fingers tracing Angkor Wat on his right arm. The body never forgets, Nova. I replied, it will, old man. My name on his neck was his only response. A baby cries in the seat across the aisle. My inkless body drifts down Interspace 5. Welcome to our only stop, says the pilot. Everybody up and off. While she refuels, we disembark onto a city of rafts, hundreds of redwood rafts above a reservoir held by the gravity and atmosphere generated by this rest stop. The still, waveless lake, like a sea suspended in space. Vendors, fruit stands, florists, even little houses and 5-seater bars, stacked from veranda to veranda. These people live here. They come from everywhere, stay floating in between. As the rest stop rotates away from the sun, string lights by the thousands, mirrored by the water's blackening surface, I walk among merchants. I look through their souvenirs for my father's name, which is never there. Donald is what I get. Grandma was so cute for misspelling it Donald. I wander onto a long dock away from Central Port. Children run between little tables and umbrellas. Other starboats made port here, floating on the water. One of them resembles the rest stop city itself, a giant vessel of rafts of homes, a collage of alloyed wood and glass cockpits, smaller starboats docked onto its ancient frame, merged with the mother vessel. The rugged cluster looks like a starborn city. Notes of tobacco, Old men or monks lounge in an observation deck turned patio, its glass panorama open to the fresh night, the synthetic breeze. Goggled men, weathered, inked, toned, climb ladders, tune up the boat. One woman, shirtless, in an apron, waters plants in a glass greenhouse, a crystal bulb protruding from the starboat's right flank. Her black hair is up, loose strands bouncing from the bun, baggy khakis. She turns as if knowing I was watching, luminous irises, amber as in prophecy and twilight perpetual, from her neck down to her ribs, out to her toes, ink, all manner of creatures, apes, serpents, owls, 3 owls, each brimming from a different linework. Heterogeneous forms make her body a jungle, a starboat for all forms en route to other lives. She places her hand on the glass. The outline of a door appears, hisses as the door opens, the vapor escaping, the women emerging. Hi, I whisper. She walks down a ramp. My dad would love you, I sigh. He would love your boat, but he hates asking for help. He's so sad and he doesn't want to bother people, but maybe you don't mind being bothered. Oh, I'm sorry, that was a lot. I'm Nova. It's been a tiring trip. She laughs, nodding. What is his name, she asks. Donald, I reply. Donald, she repeats, correctly. She closes her eyes, smells the damp night air, and asks, where is he now? Working, I say, far away. She takes my hand. Show me, she hums, her voice a warm, ringing bell, her palm opening to the ramp. Come. There's much space on our boat. There's room for everyone. Thanks.
Thank you once again. So once again, we'll be hosting these monthly. I wasn't going to read a poem. Can I read a poem? Anybody okay with that? All right. All right. Like I didn't just force you to listen to me. This one is brand new. It's called Poem Like a Body. The wrinkles and runs have become more pronounced, less uneven, more perfect for their imperfection, more widespread, covering the totality of my excuses, like glaze before firing, like a quiet night. This poem is my body. I miss lying on the living room floor on Thursday nights. I miss the smell of cigarette smoke hanging on the morning air, feeling really bad only to get over it once the afternoon sun comes through the side window, being skin and bones one day, being ready. This will be the better year. We will finally make a little money, finally paint the hallway, finally fix this poem that is a body, finally fix this body that is a poem, finally fix the doorbell. This will be the best year. There's hand sanitizer in all the cars, crumpled and stained paper mask in all our coat pockets. I cried last night at the end of an end, the last episode of a show we only watched because we had run out of things to say. This poem took years to write. It's still not done. And with that, my name is Jason Montgomery. This is Open Mic. We'll be hosting one of these every month with a feature. And we have our feature, and I'm going to read the feature's bio, and we're really excited to welcome Jade Gaynor, she, they, V. She is a trans poet from Atlanta, Georgia. They are the author of the narrative poetry chapbook Rugburn and have been published in New Session, Delicate Friend, Volcania 21, and Corporal Lit magazine, among others. Sorry about that, I butchered that bio. Her work praises the ephemeral and mythologizes the broken in loving pursuit of the world's missing pieces. Oh, that's really beautiful. V is a student at the MFA for Poets and Writers at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Please give a large round of applause for our feature and a all-around great person. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. The first time I came to Western Massachusetts for anything was to visit the poetry program and see if it was going to be a place I would like. And as part of that, in November of 2021, I got to see Peter Gizzi reading and then in conversation with Ocean Vuong about poetry. They brought up this idea of poetry and poets as being sort of campfires in the night, in the ancient past, singing from campfire to campfire, all along the valley. And from that spirit, I want to say, like, thank you to everyone for coming and for reading their stuff. Like, it's always like such a pleasure to get to read my things, because like people are listening to me read my things. That's cool. That's why I write it. But like to get to hear other people read themselves as well makes it more special, I think. Let's see. I'm going to start us off with the very first poem in the portfolio that I submitted to get into this program. This is about, so many of these are about people I've loved in different places and times. So this is a girlfriend from a long time ago, but more so about the things that I learned from that experience. Contralto. I want to say that olive green was always the right color, that the tree felt so soft against a cut hair face, so firm underneath skin over small, heavy bricks sopping with age, that a door is only a door if it can be opened, else it becomes a wall, that the yellow-green vines growing in a wall at your desk swallow sun and softly bleed light into your lap, that I wish to drown in that pooled flare and be upended, that this is shelter, is a place so close to home it twists the throat, that your open door is a threshold, that cool, smooth wood has whorls and grain, that my pen catches in the divots, that a note is nothing without a voice, that silk lives in chest, that grammar breaks to grog, breaks to groin, grows to going, is orange without red on warm mountain sand. I want to say that your journey was above me in the ladder vines, and that the passing note is tangled in my hands. Thank you. Let's see, I'm going to jump around a bit between like several different sources. So this next thing I'm going to read, some of you have heard before. It's called Upon Hearing Florida is in the News Again. And it's worth noting going into this that the transphobia and the laws are like, you all know, it's ridiculous, it's bad, and it's getting worse. But it is important to recognize that queerphobia, especially in America, is grounded in racism as well. You know, this is all the same fight at the core. And if we forget that, they win. Upon hearing Florida is in the news again, the first thing I think about is hating Disney World. plastic metal, plastic rust, plastic fun, plastic walls. Only the alcohol is real. That's not a good thing. But her face was real. Her face was real, like my sister when she got married. Whites with purple, night tigers at the wedding exhibit, a vow and dances, real like red on faces, and when I come out as trans, she says I could have been a bridesmaid. The second thing I think about is loving Disney World food poisoning. How that whole 2 days went, a cool tile on my face, a cool woman with a puzzle on her hands. Yeah, she did most of the work, but you better believe I helped. And since this is my story, she'll tell you I was beautiful when we split our tiles up. The third thing I think about, stay with me, is a little frog we caught in a plastic bucket when I was 10. How its living mud face wide-eyed froze, how it hopped so hard to knock the white bucket, but a 10-gallon bucket doesn't budge for, what, an angry ounce? I asked to add a stick so it might feel more at home, maybe a leaf and some water, maybe spend a little time on an ecosystem, at least a few flies. No sticks, it might escape, but you can add any flies you catch. I didn't catch any. The fourth thing I think about is a little more obvious. Happy-ish heat shimmering up my child feet, a cozy hot air balloon brain soaring in the possibilities of a dictated dream, hand in hand with a sister and a brother and a sister, and I'm not allowed to be a girl since we're 2 and 2 for now. About Papa, how he was 65 with us in a jungle hotel watching while my green bones lived out fantasies of being Jane Goodall, or a velociraptor, or other impossibilities at slow odds with the earth, a prepubescent intersection, an assumption that everything will be good in the end. The fifth thing I think about, now I'm older, is what you know about Florida. Madness and muck and unbearable saturation, how the air is smothering, how now they've got laws against people like me being kids, how it's America's dick, and what's that thing they think I want to do? Chop it off? One more reason they don't deserve to talk about us. I don't want her gone. I want her home. I want a careful surgeon and plenty of rest for the whole state until their nerve endings reconnect, until their stitches heal, and there's some somatic peace of mind. I try not to think about that somatic peace of mind. About 10 years from now, 20, 30, when she's been healed, when I'm 65 and in the hotel watching all the little frogs being whatever scientist they want, getting married in their happiest place on earth. Not yet. The final thing I think about is tipping this fucking bucket. This next very short poem is a piece that I almost always read after that one as a way of relieving the tension a little bit. But it's from a manuscript that I've been working on with a good friend for a while together. We're hoping to get it published next year. We'll see, fingers crossed. It's in some contests called, what is the full title? It is Drunk with the Oracle in the Ladies' Room at Delphi. So this poem is, what time were you born? For astrology, girlfriends. I'm just curious because you talk like a Leo and laugh like a Taurus, but cry like a bitch. I'm going to move into a little bit from Rugburn. I have a couple copies with me. If you want to buy it, it's like $7. I also do art swaps. If you have something cool of yours, I'm more than happy to make that work. If you only have a card, I don't have a card reader, so you can go to Book Moon in East Hampton, Amherst Books in Amherst, or Everyone's Books or Antidote Books in Brattleboro. They've all been nice enough to sell it on their shelves, which is like just mind-blowing to me. This is a book that is a narrative love story about a relationship that I was in when I realized that I was trans. It's a couple of the things blended together, but it's overall one story. I'm going to read you a section entitled Memphis, because I wrote this first. The whole thing came about because of it, and I have been desperate for an excuse to read it to a crowd. Memphis. Flight. You are driving to Memphis. 7 hours across 2 states, seeing more of Alabama than you ever wanted. 7 hours from Atlanta and the wrong time of day. 7 hours with just you and music through pines. 7 hours including the rocky switch to nowhere, Mississippi, that chews tires and nerves in a broken asphalt mouth. 7 hours in the summer in a car that's been acting up and doesn't have the best AC. 7 hours from familiar, from stifling to home, to her. You make it in 6. But after 5, you see the shipping containers piled high like a dock got lost miles from shore. Thank you. Shade. The hardest part is stopping at McDonald's not even halfway to buy a Black and Mild and gas and pee and eat and no trees in the wide black lot and the sweat and 3 more hours and another state and your car is named Naomi and she's moving weird the whole way there. The next hour and hour and hour and entering the city limits and noon never seems to end and then on South McLean Boulevard, the trees get lush across both lanes, and blue arms break the fever. Sunrise. White heat becomes golden paint oozing up the building. Day is radiant when it knows it has to go soon. Your car is in motion when she runs up. Round shoulders, backpack, opening a door, in the seat, sweet cool lips, hands grip you, fierce love, sweat and smells from doing and being. Hi, dork, hi, 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 recreational echolalia. She is in your arms and nothing can ever be wrong now. Let's get your stuff, what can I carry? Soap bubble. The elevator chimes like a toaster oven, and the door accordions open. You walk around a corner, then partway down a hall carpeted in hard gray. A faint stain in the outline of a long puddle blocks your path, but you ford it easily. It's been dry for years. I guess that makes it a faint stain, you think. You think things like that often. She walks ahead to unlock the door. She looks up at you, smiling and talking, and you realize she's been talking to you the whole time. She opens the door. The apartment inside isn't so much tidy as it is spare, though it is tidy. The living room is almost empty, with a kitchen by the entrance. On the opposite wall, a sliding glass door opens to a balcony. Light pours through. The living room is a place where you could play hopscotch or foursquare if you had chalk to rub lines on the faux wood floor. She wouldn't mind. She likes it clean, but she makes an exception for art and games, as the paint splotches can attest. And the kitchen is a heaven of ancient appliances. A wide white oven gleams with rounded 90s edges and spiral metal burners wound into hypnotic rings. A white blue coffee maker sits on a gray Formica counter. You could cook pasta and move it to the sink, and from the sink watch someone sit on the balcony and read at the purple table. A second door, also in the kitchen, leads back out of the apartment into the hallway. A third door in the living room wall separates the bedroom from the rest, a line drawn between carpet and wood. The bedroom is so happy. So happy. So many photos and drawings from friends decorate walls. A corner between the bed and the long, thin window is covered in your art, your doodles. A matching dresser and bookshelf and bedside table, all made of pale blonde wood, and a bed. A bed you both sleep in, despite your size and warmth, in these summer days that shine like polished amber. Let's drink, she says, with anxious enthusiasm. God, yes, you respond in kind. You walk with your girlfriend in Memphis. There is a Rite Aid across the street you walk to when it is time to buy more alcoholic root beer, and other times she drives you both to a liquor store with a Kraken painted across the side in bold black. The Rite Aid is across the street that way, and across the other road of this intersection, there is a grocery store this way. Even though it is a major road in a city you've heard of, you can walk across it without hustle. Memphis is like that. You are going this way, walking next to the road on the sidewalk, because she wants to go to the art supply store and get some pens and paint and canvases, and you are going to draw and paint end tables together. I don't need them, but I need them, she laughs. She is wearing high-waisted cuffed jean shorts and a black t-shirt with a pentagram made of wolf heads, and a piercing in her nose that you love because it is gay. It is so gay. And it reminds you that she mostly likes women, but has chosen you, which is happy. You are wearing an all-red t-shirt with no sleeves, with the cast from a high school musical you were in, written in black on the back in Comic Sans. And you think, I have changed so much from then. And you think, I have such a life, such a wonderful girlfriend. And you think, I wish I could feel happy about it. Fuck, she says, sharp and fast, because she has anxiety. Fuck, did we lock the door? I don't have my keys. And you pull out her keys by their faded cat print keychain, and you show them to her. And you smile, conspiratorial, because you are always forgetting everything, but you remembered this. She closes her eyes and breathes out in relief. Oh, good, she says as one word. You are happy. Cross that out. You feel happiness. You feel happy and useful. You feel happy to be useful to her. You think, it's really just too bad that it's sad what a happy feeling to be useful to her. And you do not examine the skipping thoughts. You walk together. Your giant flip-flops slap the sidewalk and clap your heels next to her tiny Tevas, which make normal walking sounds. A smaller, smoother hand slides into yours, and her fingers fit like a puzzle piece in place, and you give her hand a soft squeeze, and your palms touch, and your heart purrs. You're so sweaty, she says, excited and a little baffled. How are you already so sweaty? You shrug, and your mind locks up, screams, it is embarrassing to be sweaty. It is bad to be sweaty. It is rude to tell you that you are sweaty. You're getting defensive. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Why am I so sweaty? Apologize. Wipe your hands off. Promise to do better. What does that mean? Your sweat is a betrayal. Your sweat is a betrayal. Even though you like it when she is sweaty, you know that somehow your sweat is a betrayal because guy sweat sucks and you're not, and you don't like, and unlike you, they, and even though you do not want to be like guys because, and the way that you are different from guys is you think, why can't I finish any thoughts? She looks at you and you realize it has been too long. You probably seem like some kind of asshole. Who gets defensive about sweat? Thinking quickly, you wipe your sweaty hands on her. Yuck, she laughs. Are you okay? She asks. You tell her you are just embarrassed to be so sweaty, and it's not a lie because your thoughts won't stick, so you don't know what's wrong. But you can see that it feels like a lie to her. Can see it in how she gets quieter, gets that face that says, I love you, why won't you trust me? You trust her. You trust her so much, but you can't say it because you can't think it, can't see it. Green clouds on gray-brown sticks are everywhere. If you put your glasses on, they are trees, but you don't put your glasses on yet. You enter the art store separately at the same time and look at pretty paints and flat rainbows. You buy some. You walk back. You walk across the street that way and get the best damn root beer. The bag of bottles and the bag of paint shift and crinkle and clink in your sweaty hands, heavy all the way home. Party. Break. Her friends come over to help you drink. To help you drink, they brought some weed. Some weed they smoke in a glass bowl for their anxiety. For their anxiety and because it's good to be high. It's good to be high with other women. Other women who are lesbians are your people. Your people, wow, how high are you? Are you high already because you're a man? Her friends pour shots of Bacardi Superior rum. Shots of Bacardi Superior rum are flowing into you like the root beer. It's alcohol. It's alcoholic root beer. You had a few of them, but you're good still. You're good still even if you drop their glass bowl. You drop their glass bowl and it shatters, but it's okay. It's okay, but is that blood? Your foot is bleeding from glass from the bowl, but it's fine. They go home and it's just you and your girlfriend, but it's fine. She says, we'll buy a new one. Oh my God, are you bleeding? But it's fine. She gets you a Band-Aid and laughs that you didn't notice, and she goes to bed and you don't, but it's fine. You go online and look at other women, but it's not for sex, but then why else are you looking? But it's fine. Wake up next to her happy and hungover, and it's the best thing you've ever felt, but it's fine. Eat barbecue and wade in a scale model of the Mississippi and see the pyramid and go look at cats and paint her table and draw with her and visit her other friends and eat barbecue and buy a new bowl with her and see seasons change with her and walk to eat bibimbap burgers with her and hold her and eat barbecue with her and paint with her and eat barbecue with her and kiss her, and cook for her, and greet her new kitten, and tomorrow you leave, and she cooks for you, and you turn to her at night while her eyes are closed, and you start to say something. You open your mouth, you feel something catch in your throat. You don't know what it's going to be, but there's something important, and she's the person you love more than anyone you've ever known, and you can't think of the words, but you are going to push through, and if you start speaking, maybe it can flow out, and you are straining inside, and thin tears burn in your eyes without falling, and you almost make a sound before rolling the other way and letting scalding tears sear your face, but it's fine. Flight 2. In the morning, you leave a comfy set of clothes behind for her to sleep in and kiss her goodbye. You almost leave your sleeveless red shirt behind, but it's too familiar, and you could use that comfort on the drive. You were driving from Memphis. You think it should feel like driving to Memphis in reverse, a tape played backward. Instead, it just feels like driving to Memphis. As you leave the limits of the state, you see the stacked shipping containers in a huge facility with a sign impossible to miss that says transport, but the port is obscured by trees slowly crawling across the sign as you move. Thank you. All right. I'm going to jump into some newer stuff. Things that are tentatively in something I submitted to the Song Cave open reading. Yeah, so all of those things were written last year or the year before. This is stuff from this year. March out. Get your dander into panels, flat, angled panels. We pile into your van. Can anyone even drive this? Angry, yeah, I'm sorry. We got separated, you say, stumbling past the porch. Now we're here. You run into the night arms wide, strategizing the central joy, my heart in the cast iron in the campfire bringing them in. A body coated in fur, a mane, paws like raccoon dog, neck long and swan-like, snake searching from roadside ditch, stalking prey-like up the near side, face human, craned to the moon. Look at the moon, look back at you, silent breadth of eyes, widen to the sheen of night sight. You're both too far from the fire. Intrusive music. Fling off a bouncing leaf through the pageantry of night me, of hope me seeming home, across some blue-purple dunes, under their watchful pinpoint eyes. It's yawning into jasmine even as we watch. Animus at play, converting the waste of another day, long cross-sectional, plumbing up into plump pearls I can never leave, which is about where we left it 12 hours ago. A downward slope, like a hand dancing on a thigh, gripping every tooth, biting all our glass. Armor-penetrating chaos abounds, sharded candy lions mooing. It won't go away. Not to get too hunter, but it presses up against the rubber, peering through hand first, and opacity stretching into a shiny translucence. I think the grooves are mistaking their runnels for tracks. I think the tracks are reclaiming bricks named for graduates of the class of 2006. To be clear, I mean that which attacks a cop, not that which protects us. The difference is as subtle as one thing that is one way and another thing that is the same thing that same way. The painful circulation of things I wish I'd been in another life, where I would run away, and things would happen the same, and I would be under the trestle with you when you wrote that song. This one's a slightly sillier thing that I wrote in Wah Win's seminar. It doesn't really have a title, it just jumps right in. In my father's folders after his passing was scrawled these: "I, long and low, and round us cast that glow as from a potter's clay after a glazing. Oh, and I do yet find untimely all these beats of brass and binding. Of my binding let the less be said than that we say of bindings broken by the dead. I share that sight which caused my turn from faith toward delay. Some many years ago I traveled once to serve my God. A scoundrel in some foreign market made a face as if to spit, and when I turned and offered cheek to him instead, he grinned. We broke our bread. He shared his tale, how he saw a truth scrawled in the dust so vast and perfect, only God could stamp it there. I asked he share the words so I might inherit knowledge of my Lord. Instead, he bade me follow after deep into the mud-cracked flats in which some ancient city once was thought to stand. No, then we found in Sumer, vast and sharp, these words engraved and shining on the clay of mighty on the clay as though a law, ere long, or that long in full be tear. Cast off thy doubts, and know as I the land of gods exists, but only for my kind, those who delay approach until well laden by a life. Knowing my training was betrayal, I share in hopes of you." On cold summer nights, after Bob Kaufman. The moon lets me on the balcony. No rooms to explore. But the door is glass, and the smooth is cold, and the moon watches back. All right, one more kind of funny one, and then I'll hit my last three short ending ones. The poet Socratic methods herself out of joining another religion, or Teotihuacan you not. Yep, there it is. There it is. There it implies itself into existence. Yep, it is home. Yep, the stone and Mercury seas. Is it blue or black without light? Got it. Glow of pyrite stars in earthly heaven. Yeah, The tunnel runs. Whoa, that big rock candid, mountain carved all feather serpent style, huh? Oh, yeah, the waters, subterranean as aquatic, Gods were born here, or like, yep. Yeah, bones. Yeah, masks and jaguars, that's right. Yeah. No touching, please. Oh, you had a dream? You were the jaguars? You keep jade under pillow? You feel the pull of your child heart, the liminal littoral of meaning speaking, and your body forces gesture vaguely towards under pressure? Nice. Proud of you, man. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. No, the art is very neat. Oh, sure, it sucks. Yep, they should share the image. Yes, they're sacrilege. No, they're local. Dope. Yeah. Dope. Yeah. No, yeah, no. Yeah. No. Yeah, decisive. No doubt. But no. Alrighty. These final 3 poems. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do something that I promised my girlfriend forever ago I would always do. This is the very first poem I ever got published, and I told her that I would always read it at any big event that I had where I felt like I could get away with it. Something is growing for Lily. I am in love with my girlfriend's cock. Like, it's the most perfect thing. And I'm thinking about taking it and tasting it and sliding it inside me and sliding me up and down until I feel twitching and hear moaning. And she hasn't used it with me yet. Hasn't used any of her with me yet, because we are 5,000 miles apart, which is customary for the kind of girlfriends who have cocks. I think about this a lot. I think about our distance and the time left until the distance might go away. And I think about the longing, and I long hard. I think about the longing and the distance and her not touching me, and I forgive it. I forgive it almost as hard as I long, and almost as long as she is far, and I try to find the good part about not touching. For example, it is exciting. It is exciting to be 5,000 miles apart, cocks in our hands, missing a person I have never been in danger of meeting. And it feels like something in a movie where everything turns out okay, and the protagonist gets the girl and her cock, and no one has to sit alone with their cock. And I really need this to be good. And then... This is going to be the final poem of the night, from me at least. Thank you so much, everybody. This has been wonderful. 5 whys. Because I am pursuing what I love. Because I feel it bring me to half peace and more. Because I am midsting forward in this viscous joy. Because we keep reveling in our layer shine. Because they are my friends, and this is our only everything. Thank you. Maybe a little bit more.
Thank you. Can I get a hug?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I'll hug better when I'm feeling.
So I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight, for being here for the very first open mic. Again, we will be hosting these once a month with an open mic and a featured greeter here at Holyoke Media. Thank you, Holyoke Media. Thank you, Johan, for filming and doing all of the work. Seriously, I just showed up and everything was done. So thank you all for coming out tonight. Follow us on Attack Bear Press on various social medias and to see when the next one is. Thank you again. Oh, and thank you to our featured reader, Jade. That was stupid of me. Thank you.